I find difficulty in understanding. But let us all, why I say I support the concept, is if it's a concept, maybe they'll explain the details more in future, that aids the fight, that aids coordination. We agree. But again, what Mr. ANANABA has said, have we looked at our courts? You want a judge to run a trial with 10 witnesses, to go through volumes and volumes of documentation. And the court is analog. Yeah. The judge has to write by longhand. The speed of a trial is determined essentially by the speed at which the judge can write. So when you are giving that evidence, the judge is writing. Go to court and see what happens. And at the end of the day, the judges have been vilified. They are slowing down trials. I just urge all of you here who are journalists, take pains one day, take a record book, go and sit down in the courtroom, and as the judge is recording, record with him, and see for how long you can record.
First time I saw that, I didn't...
When senior advocates are going to court, senior lawyers are going to court, even 5-year-olds are going to court, as one lawyer is doing the case, on that, you have a team. On that lawyer is taking notes. When the lawyer gets tired, for all the teams. But one man, it can be changed.
Because I recall I went to a court once, and the person was a fast talker, and he was going, and the man said, hey, the judge said, hey, wait a minute, slow down, I'm taking notes. And I said, oh my, this is 2016, and you lead in the pack of great lawyers, fantastic lawyers. What do you think we should do?
We should digitalize our courtrooms. Yeah. Very simple. Technology is available. Ghana, South Africa, India, all over. And we are wondering, what are we waiting for? Why can't we have digital recording systems in all our courts? As far back as the O.J. Simpson trial, that was the first time I got fascinated with digital recorders. Because if you're a trial lawyer, you wonder what has happened. They were taking 10 witnesses yesterday, and they're in court. They left court at 7 p.m. They're in court at 9 a.m. the next day, and everybody has the notes of evidence. Yeah. The judge has the notes, the lawyers have the notes.
Even when you look at, even before getting to the judges, how does this criminal prosecution take place? There's a suspect, a set of police people, whether they are in EFCC or ICPC or whatever, will go and do investigation. They may not actually be very conversant with what will be required to prove that case in court. And now these people assemble what they call evidence for this case, and then turns over to the Ministry of Justice to prosecute. There is no direct connection between the investigators and the lawyers that will appear in court to prosecute. And most of these cases will have to be adjourned or may have to be lost in the course of prosecution. So going forward, 1 year is gone. We're going into the second year. I will propose, I believe my president has his own views about it, but the point is, let us begin to have a coordinated prosecution. As a person is suspected or is arrested, right from the time you are starting that investigation, the investigating team should be talking to the prosecuting team, so they know what they are going to investigate and put together.
That's the question I wanted to ask.
And it comes together, by the time that there's an arraignment, everybody is ready.
I was going to ask that question because sometimes they get to court and they find out that they filed 70 charges. They go amend the charges, maybe new evidence has come in, or sometimes they've not even finished the investigation before they are going to court. That back and forth between the investigating team and the prosecuting team is as if there's a discordant note somewhere. Can that be sorted out so that...
Yeah, that's the solution I'm talking about. And the next day, everybody thinks the headache is the judiciary. I can say that clearly, that we have one of the best judicial systems in the world. And we have the best lawyers in this country. When you go to international gathering of lawyers, you will like the Nigerian lawyer. Are you with me? But then these are the areas where, within our home here, we begin. There is no magic. And let me explain to you that the Constitution guarantees the right of the accused. So it's not a question of that you must run and secure conviction. You have to take due process. And the accused is entitled to a legal team that will also be questioning that evidence you're bringing. So one of the things I think should begin to happen is that the prosecuting team and investigating team must begin to work from the onset of the case.
Let me bring in this because it also concerns the position of Leonard Silk. There's this impression, rightly or wrongly, perhaps you tell us, that some of your colleagues, SANs now, are impeding this fight against corruption. Is that correct?
It's totally erroneous.
It's not true.
Totally erroneous. And like I keep saying, if we don't get it right, we don't get it right. What Paul has said, maybe that is what this committee didn't set up wants to do. I don't know. Like I said, we'll wait for more information about the committee. But the critical thing that we must not lose sight of is do a proper investigation, get the best lawyers in place for the prosecution and for the defense. Then you have to now encounter the courtroom infrastructure. No matter how well the investigation is, no matter how well the defense is, if the courtroom infrastructure is lacking, we have a problem. We must address that problem. How many judges have generators at home? How many judges have functional libraries? We must address that problem.
That's an arm of government.
Yes. For 6 months, years ago, where the judiciary was on strike, there's a provision for funding the judiciary that has been obeyed mostly by the states, especially more in breach than in compliance. So if we keep looking at the judiciary and throwing stones at the judiciary without asking these critical questions, what is the caseload of every judge? Some judges are doing 700 cases. How do you expect maximum performance from such judges? But when you come to the fight against corruption, you see, there must be a proper trial. This is critical to understanding the fight against corruption. There's no need securing the conviction and getting it overturned on appeal. For there to be a proper trial, there must be what we call procedural fairness. It must be seen throughout. It's a part of having a trial. The accused must be well represented by counsel as the prosecution. And if there's any provision in law that aids a defense counsel, it certainly has a right to make use of it. It is for the court to decide. But if you look at all these challenges, let us take one case where I've been wondering in a sense. We've had one case that, in the last 2 adjournments, I think, from the newspaper reports, prosecution is in court, defense is in court, accused is not produced. You have to adjourn. All the lawyers are doing is defending their clients. And when you hold their clients in detention without access to the lawyer, if the lawyer does not debrief his client, how then does he defend the client? There's a case I always draw attention to where a youth copper defended an accused person. When it goes to Supreme Court set aside the conviction. The issue now was not whether the man killed or did not kill. The issue was whether a youth copper was properly equipped to defend a man fighting for his life. We must understand that that process must be put in place to ensure. That's why, for example, you have a prosecution after you're gathering your evidence. You are supposed to present the defense with your proof of evidence.
Okay, Mr. ANANABA, we're almost out of time, but a very quick one here. Yeah, Mr. Alegeh talked about while we're fighting corruption, we need to put structures in place to ensure there is no recurrence or corruption does not continue. Do you see that in place? Do we have those kind of structures in place?
Yeah, I think that is being done, but more needs to be done, and that's why we're discussing. Maybe committees have been set up and all that. We're lucky to have also the president of the bar. The bar needs to be, to be at the engine of this process, because whatever you do about fighting corruption, you cannot exclude the bar. I believe that 1 year after, we should pay more attention to the bar, lies with the bar leadership. both the prosecuting lawyer and the defense lawyer are all members of the bar. So we should bring the bar in into this struggle. And there should be enough attention in terms of budgetary provision for the judiciary. In the last 2-3 Chief Justice of the Federation, at several occasions, had to say, look, our budget is being reduced. Where to reduce budget is not in the judiciary. It's not there. And when you reduce this budget, what my president was saying will be there, because there will be no funds to bring in electronic equipment. The registrar of the court, each court, has a serious role to play. You also have the bailiffs, service of process, and all that. So when we are going for this war on corruption and we are thinking about the judiciary, we should budget well, we should plan properly, and there should be supervision, and then the bar must not be left out in that struggle.
All right, Mr. Paul ANANABA, SAN, and Mr. Augustine Alegeh, SAN and NBA President. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That's the program. But just before we go, we also like to remind you that we also have the program continuing today by 6 p.m. and another by 8 p.m. Don't forget to hashtag Buhari 365 days. You could join the conversation with that hashtag and can also tweet at us. Well, yeah, that's where we draw the curtains today. We're expected to also use any of those. Well, we thank you for watching, and I'm Chamberlain. Also.
Many thanks for watching. We'll see you in another 365 days. There's May 29, 2017. I'm Sulaiman Alegeh.
And I'm Neo Taigbe. Thank you so much for watching.